Yeah, also, yeah, on a light champ on this map, you spawn with no armor on a spawn trappy map like this is gonna be, yeah. It's gonna be brutal, and you can't really plus back either, so we'll see how it goes.
Dan gets on a roll, it's going to be a very hard one to break, although it's a really, really good start location for Salty, although the delay on that heavy.
Yeah, he took a risk by trying to go for the mega straight up and then saw the damage there and went back, so there was a chance that Dan could have potentially attacked, but now Salty looking for damage, but he really doesn't have any weapons. He literally only has a shotgun on him because he does use starting shotgun, so no machine gun even in hand. He'll have tri-bolt, but this is notoriously the bad side of the map, and Dan kind of knows that. Already a Ghost Walk has been forced on the first item cycle.
And I was going to say, the delays kind of worked against him a little bit there, as Dan's going to know exactly when the heavy's up, and he's going to have visual on this right now.
It seemed like Dan overchased a tiny bit, because he's kind of given up both items, but yeah, that's brutal. That's done a lot of damage, so even though Dan had to give up both items, he's done so much damage, so it's really given Salty really no advantage. In fact, he's down stack, because he is on a light champ, so Dan looking to attack him. Nice rockets from Salty!
You can be sure.
Oh my goodness, that's 2 directs. Almost it's a spawn rocket too. Yes, good chance to do damage here because Dan doesn't really have the weapons, and there it is, 135, and he's going to finish off the kill, so this is a very strong start for Salty off that double direct.
Yeah, it shows for us to not question these picks, even if they are accidental.
Yeah. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, like, no matter what champion pick, if you hit your shots like that, it doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah, minute and a half in, and Salty's making this mistake work for him.
Here we go, but this will be an interesting fight on the heavy. It's not up for a while, but super shotgun in Quake Champs just devastates you, man.
Yeah, it looks like he was going for the inside out, but still turned it into a kill in any case, although Dan's just doing so much damage.
Yeah, that's one thing Dan has kind of got going for him right now, is that he's putting on constant pressure, which means Salty can't really get a massive run on this map. He seems to be fighting for survival a little bit, as you can see.
Just whittles away all of that health that Salty had gotten back for himself.
Yeah, and Salty doesn't really have any lights to go on. I think this one at Rockets might be up, but that means he has to completely give up heavy, and he probably can't even do any damage on it, so this will put him on the back foot quite heavily now, as Dan also has ability. And Salty, he's not even showing this lights up, so Dan might have a better idea when this lights up than Salty does. And he's going to be able to do some unturned damage, but 60 damage overall is not going to do much to that stack, especially when the mecha's about to spawn. And there's the ability, and yeah, nice kill from Dan. He has the mecha to fall back on, so Salty, yeah, he's going to have to see if he can do some good damage here with the tri-bolt, but only does 20, and
yeah, he's got a little bit of entrance, not a lot at that, and he's having to back away, and this is what we were talking about at the start. Like, once he's dead, it's going to be hard for him to get back into the fight. Lovely rocket there.
He does have that light armor, but at the same time, look at Dan's stack, it's just ridiculous. And Dan is just, he's pushing, there is no fear to be had. A bit of a gauntlet hit, but it's only going to put a little dent in the armor. And there's the spawn camping that we were talking about. Look how fast he died there. That was ridiculous.
And he's just going to come in for another one. He knows where he's going to be. Straight in. Super shotgun. See you later. And now we're back to advantage Dan again.
And there you go. Salty got those 3 frags in like maybe 2.5 minutes, and Dan just got 4 back in like half that time. And that's just showing the speed of the champ and, you know, the low stack that Nyx has. And because of the pressure that Dan's putting on, Salty almost never has Ghost Walk up when he wants to have it. And again, the ability, so strong in this map because there's no rail. And Dan, again, knows the spawn. He's just going to close in and get that frag again. And Salty, because the item split is so large as well, there's very little ways in for him here.
Yep. Dan's knowing what Salty needs and just comes up, shotgun to the face. Here's him come out. And, oh, thought that was going to be another one there. Might as well have been almost straight away.
Yeah. And here we go again. Dan just going to push because no armor against the Nyx. That LG's just going to cut them in half pretty much straight away. And Dan, commanding lead now, Mega's up, and again, still a huge delay on the heavy as well.
Yeah.
And Salty might have the lights, but yeah.
The speed that is able to be applied at the moment, as you said, first 2 minutes of the match was 3 kills to Salty. we're only another 2 minutes to almost 3 minutes on top of that now, and we've had 8 come out in that time. It's just an insane pace.
Yeah, Salty has to work like twice as hard in every area. Like speed, he doesn't have the speed, he doesn't have the stack. He just has to work so hard, and yeah, I mean, when Dan's also hitting like Dan does, like, he's gonna have to pull quite a miracle here. I think he's gonna have to get like another double direct kill like he did earlier to get himself back in the game and see if he can work with that. And as I talk about it, he almost pulls it off. But...
That's the type of damage he needs to be doing though. Dan's going to come and punish straight off the bat. We say that a miracle that the work needs to be put in. Salty's showing that he's not afraid to put work in. I mean, yes, he died, but he's got Dan down. It's going to cost him a few frags to get himself back in the game here. Jumping over the rockets there, Dan is direct to the face.
He does actually get heavy, and this is actually Salty's chance now, because Dan has, I think, the light armor maybe behind him. I'm not exactly sure when that comes up, but yeah, he just gets it now. But Salty's in a decent position to try and at least take this mega. Dan jumps on a bit early.
He can hear the scream, but... oh, just in time. 2 seconds before the spawn.
Yeah, and Heavy's up as well, and he has a good chance of getting this as well, because Dan won't have any weapons. Dan might get it.
Dan got it.
But he has this light to fight on. There's going to be a big fight here. Nice shotgun from Salty. But again, just because you're light, those fights, the damage you take is just like, it's so much more amplified.
We say
and it's really hard.
Salty's putting in the overtime here, and you can see that the deadly LG that Dan kept talking about during your matches, and he's bringing himself back into the game here. Yes, he's still 6 frags down, but this is corrupted key. There's 4 minutes left. He can bring, 3 minutes left. He can still bring it back.
He just has to get clean frags, and it's just harder on a light, as I was saying, because...
followed by a 35.
That's tough.
Make that make sense to me with the shotgun. Make that make sense.
Yeah, that gun is either your best friend or like your worst enemy. There's no in between with a super shotgun.
And it's never your best friend when you want it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Although these rockets are just pumping down around to where he doesn't want to be. Still picks up the light armor and the heavy, giving him advantage, and now Salty's in a very bad position.
Yeah.
The entrance rocket misses, Dan gets decent amount of damage, and goodbye.
Yeah, and dude, that was one super shotgun. And it just kills him. It is ridiculous. And nice kill there, but again, he's just... Oh, he has Mega to fall back on. Dan might contest it, because he gets some decent spawn. And,
Deadly plasma coming out.
Yeah, exactly. And, Salty now won't be able to contest a heavy, which is not great for him, considering there's only like a minute 50 left. And even those nails, that damage was fantastic for Dan.
Yeah, and this is what Dan was talking about when playing Strog, using the movement that Strog gives you that you just cannot use with other champs, sliding into combat straight past at weird angles that Salty's not expecting.
Yeah, exactly. And
he's not jumping around the corners, he's sliding around them. Where you expect him to be up, he's down. When you expect him to be left, he's already out of the room. And with a minute 15 left on the clock, it's just ego points now that Salty's playing for. I can't see him bringing it back.
Yeah, that sucks that he picked the wrong champ, because this could have been a lot closer, honestly, if he had, like, you know, I don't know what champs were up, I don't know what was banned, I wasn't around with that.
Everything, that was lovely.
Salty's rockets are ridiculous, man. That was absolutely insane. And another direct. This guy doesn't miss directs. Man, if only he had that, like, mid-game, that would have been a lot nicer for him, but hey, that's good, you know, at least some confidence. He's still hitting despite being down quite a bit, so I think the next map will be a lot closer.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there, Dan, going for the spawn kill just to finish the game off. Not gonna happen. 1-2, see you later. Just the ego points being played for now. this was GG'd a good 2 minutes ago. It was.
Yeah, it
Unfortunately.
was.
And yeah, Salty's just got to mentally reset and realize that the next map is a new game.
Yeah, and he has a much more viable champion on that map. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that is Dan up 1-0. Pretty convincing first map. It was looking a bit dicey in the first 3 minutes, but then
as soon as we saw the message from Salty that he picked the wrong champ, we kind of knew what was happening on this map.
yeah, I was expecting something like how it was in like the last 7 minutes. The first 3 minutes was surprising, but I think it's in this sort of a matchup, as soon as you lose control against a Strog and he has a decent stack to try and spawn camp you, you are in a lot of trouble. And I mean, that's exactly what we saw.
Yeah, and it's what he did. As soon as he turned that around, it was 1, 2, 3 to him.
Yeah.
Played for the items a little bit, then 1, 2, 3 again. It was, he turned that 1 kill into 3 each time.
Yeah, and
Just
Salty had to hit like insane rockets just to like try and turn the tides of the game, or hit a nice insane shotgun. It was,
In the chat, grind mode has a good point. Salty did hit 0% rail that entire map. And Tom, no, I'm not trying to take 40 lions quote, mate.
All right. Well,
So on to Blood Cove, where we're gotten light v light.
so the advantage that Slash has is speed over Anarchy. Anarchy's still fast, but Slash is faster.
Anarchy's got that pocket mega.
Yeah, I
Can
mean,
pop at any time.
I think just
But
the
Slash has the ability to get to mega at any time.
yeah, I mean, the thing is that I think with both these light champs, I think it's just light champs in general. It's very heavily momentum based. If a Slash has control, she can be anywhere at any point. And again, it's the thing about sliding past choke points and not getting hit by like 100 damage rockets.
Yeah.
But then again, if Anarchy's in control, even if he's taking a good amount of damage in fights, he can just stim up again, and against another light, that's super powerful. So I honestly think it really depends on who gets the good start.
The other thing that we've got to take into consideration here, okay, yes, the layout's a little bit different. This map has been around since 1999. Dan's been playing it since 1999 in all of its iterations. There's gonna be a level of experience on this map that's gonna have to come into play. Yes, the layout's a little bit different. Mega's not in the middle anymore, but we're basically going to be looking at experience versus aim here.
Come on, let's go. Get an antsy over here.
And speed. I don't see speed coming into it as much. The utilization of speed is going to be a question.
Risky start from Dan, using that speed of Slash, trying to see if he can cut off the Mega, and he almost had it, but the problem with doing that off spawn is that you don't really have any weapons, so he wasn't really able to get any damage either.
Yeah. Salty comes out of that smelling like roses, although we do have the item split, with both players with their own little advantage there.
Yep.
And I forgot to ask you, who are we following?
I'm on Dan right now.
Dan, gotcha.
Dan's going to be able to deny this armor, and he's actually in a better position for Mega, and that will serve him quite well, because it means he'll be able to grab it and then set up for Heavy. Heavy does spawn pretty soon, but because he's so quick, he can get here pretty fast, and that's stim used by Salty. He has no armor, he is railable, and he's dead, and there you go. That just shows you the speed of Slash and how powerful it is. And a spawn frag. Salty, kind of a little bit careless, just to run there, and oh my god.
We're seeing turning that 1 frag into 3 frags that we were talking about on Corrupted Keep again.
And that's just the nature of lights. And that's why lights are kind of like the glass cannon. Oh, that rocket was so close. But there you go. He just died because he hit a rocket on himself, and he got rocketed by Dan. That's just, lights are like, you either have so much momentum that it's like, you're very unstoppable because you're so quick, or you can really just like, yeah, it was nice. Or you can just be like constantly fragged over and over because you have such a little stack. And I mean, that's what we're seeing right now. This is 1:30 into Blood Covenant, and it's 5-0. That is pretty insane and unheard of.
Are we going to see another high frag game again is the real question here.
Yeah, I mean, both fast champs, when it tends to be this sort of a matchup, they tend to like, headbutt each other a little bit. slow play doesn't tend to come about. So we'll see. Salty's in a decent position now. He has stim. He's trying to position for Mega. I don't think he knows the exact time because he's kind of waiting around a little bit. Dan knows the timing because he's in control. Dude, super shock.
Out as a movement error there, but obviously Dan doesn't make errors like that.
No. And good damage by Salty, but again, he has the Mega to back up on here, Dan. So it's not that big of a deal. Heavy is up, so ooh, nice rocket. So that might be able to win.
Yes. Dan's got all these items to fall back on to help reset.
I thought you were gonna put up a fight.
8-0 up, 2 minutes 30.
And he's going to steal this light and then take the heavy, so yeah, this is tough. This is tough for Salty.
We're just seeing a clinic of Blood Cove, or the campgrounds, or DM6, however you want to call it.
What's the matter?
Yeah, I wonder how comfy Salty is on Anarchy on this map. Dan's just playing really well, but at the same time, because he was going to pick Nyx on here, I don't know how much he's actually like played Anarchy on this map. I don't think it would have mattered at this point, maybe. I don't know, because Dan is just kind of like having a run on the map, but might be a tiny factor that has helped Dan a little bit. But overall, I mean, as you said, Dan's just put on a clinic, and that super shotgun is just making absolute mincemeat of Salty.
I mean, the escapability of that is obviously would obviously help a lot in a lot of these situations. Like, Salty's been putting into corners, into positions on maps where he just can't escape the damage.
Oh my god.
Fucking hell, Dan. Settle down.
Yeah, Dan's hitting.
Excuse my language.
And this is the Dan that you don't want to verse. The one that just doesn't seem to miss. Especially when he's in this so much of control and such a fast champ. It's like, how do you even get into the map, you know? It's very hard, and Salty currently has no answers, and I think it's going to be hard to find an answer with the dominant control that Dan has and just the shots that he's hitting.
One of the things here that I'm noticing is Salty's going purely for the kills here. There's not much chip damage happening. We're not seeing him show up, do a little bit of damage, run away, fight another day. I mean, sure, in situations like that, it's not being given an opportunity. But there's no tri-bolt spam, there's no just, you know, sacrificing your accuracy stats to spam the machine gun to stop Dan coming through a certain doorway.
I think Salty's just like never really had all of the arsenal available.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing about Slash and why she's probably maybe up there with Athena, the best champ on this map, just because of how quick you are. Yeah, sure, Anarchy, as I said, was quick, but like not as quick as Slash. And of course, there's also the downside of Anarchy of like you can never not make noise, right? So it's very hard to actually hide. And Dan is also just very aware of what's up, what items are up at what time, including the lights. So he can just run a cycle and pretty much run into Salty.
Yeah, I would have argued that that Mega Salty, yeah, he got it, but did he really need to be there for that fight?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, yeah, he got it, but Dan had the weaponry, so Dan's happy just to sit there and hit a rail and
But
look,
also
the stacks are even again.
Yeah, his position for the fight wasn't really helpful as well. He put himself in a corner where he could just get bullied to stay in that corner. Dan hears what's coming.
And there he goes, picked up another light, denied that from Salty. Missed the rail. Okay, this is a chance for Salty. He's hit the rail. Heavy's up in 8 seconds, but I'm not sure if Salty's too aware of it, because he's been out of control for so long. He probably doesn't have exact timings. And he wasn't in the best spot to fight it there, and he tried to reposition, but not able to get there in time, and now he wants to fight for this Mega. He is on the Mega, so he's in a decent spot. Now it's just a rail battle, and Salty hitting the first one. That's a good start for him. He has the Mega to back up on. He grabs it, gets railed, but Dan is railable. Oh, but Dan hits 2 in a row.
Was that just an attempt at a 360 rail?
That might have been... I'm spinning my mouse because I missed a few shots spin. I'm not exactly sure.
I mean, he hit it off the spin, but... I'm going to say something a bit controversial here, and you might disagree with me here, but there is no time. Honestly, I think GG was 2 minutes ago at the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, you could have argued it was like GG in the first 2 minutes with the amount of frags that Dan got, and just the escape options that he has on on Slash. But I mean, this is what I like watching Dan for. He's just a bit relentless. He's not giving Salty any room, even despite the score.
I mean, with what the current score is, Salty could get lucky. Dan's mouse might run out of battery, his internet might get disconnected, his kid might come up and pull his monitor cable out. But I don't think anything short of that is going to get Salty back into this game. Not at this point. 17-0. Dan's just recording his frag highlight reel right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of frags this game where I've just been absolutely amazed at what Dan's been hitting. He's looking like, yeah, the Dan that we're all used to, just hitting ridiculous shots and just, yeah, having this sort of a control, this dominance is, I mean, I love to see it. Unfortunate for Salty, obviously, because it's off the back of a wrong champ pick on the first map, but...
Yeah. Which seems to have had a knock-on effect to this map as well.
Yeah, potentially. I'm not, as I said, I'm not exactly sure how confident Salty is on Anarchy on this map. I mean, Anarchy is a good pick on this map. Definitely not up there with the Athenas and the Slashes, but still a good pick. Just for the speed. And I'm not sure really if Nyx would have been too much better for this map.
Yeah.
Considering what Dan's been doing and the speed he's been running on and the control that he's had.
You can tell what's happening in this map. We're now rehashing subjects that we've already spoken about. Yeah, it seems to be the same form Dan was in at Kuachi Con. Just absolutely love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, at the start of this season, in his first few matches, you could definitely see there's a bit of rust.
Yeah,
but
to quote Dan a little bit at QuachiCon, he's showing us why, and to quote him, he's the best fucking Quake player in Australia, baby.
1 minute warning.
Yeah, I mean, it's showing it right now. It's showing a pretty damn good case, so...
GG's called out.
Stopwatch.
20-0.
20-0.
I'm gonna leave it at.
I think that's a safe call on the GG. I'm not gonna be... I'm not gonna blame Salty for that one.
Definitely not blaming Salty for that one. He's going to be feeling probably a little bit salty after that, I think.
I see what you did there. And straight after a 20-0 from Dan, he's got to go play Red Oxide. Hopefully he's not feeling too bad.
Red Oxide's matches from last week were interesting to watch. I know he came out of it not really feeling... Red Oxide came out not feeling that he had played, you know, as well as he hoped he had. But, I mean, he's going to be coming up against Salty, who's just faced an informed Dan. Yeah. So honestly, I think that next matchup is going to be pretty good. I think Salty... I favour Salty in it, I think. Just the way Salty's been playing recently is just very impressive. The improvement rate from this guy and the commitment that he has to this game is... Yeah, I mean, I see him streaming quite often, just hitting up duels, so it's obviously paying off. And Red Oxide has also been like grinding as well. He's a grinder, so